This is the Persecuted Church update for March 2015, highlighting some of the significant things happening amongst the persecuted Christians around the world. Suspected Israeli nationalists set fire to a Christian seminary in Jerusalem. Anti-Christian slogans were scribbled in Hebrew on the seminary's walls. This and other attacks came a day after a similar group burned a mosque near Bethlehem. Islamic State jihadists have kidnapped more than 70 Syrian Christians after a string of attacks in northeastern Syria. The Islamic State's online radio station reported they had detained tens of crusaders and seized 10 villages. ISIS frequently refers to Christians as crusaders. ISIS also released a video showing the mass beheading of 21 Egyptian Christians who'd been kidnapped in December and January from Libya. ISIS has taken over Kuragosh, the biggest Christian city in Iraq. There are hundreds of men, women and children that are being beheaded. Joyce Meyer says, "The people are asking for prayers to be made on their behalf concerning the ongoing atrocity in their country." ISIS now controls over 90,000 square kilometres of territory in Syria and Iraq, an area roughly the size of Great Britain. The head of the Catholic Chaldean Church in Kurdistan says Iraqi Christians have little time left and that military ground action is needed because there is no other way to protect the Christians from extinction. In 1948, the Jewish community in Iraq numbered 150,000. Today, there are less than 10 known elderly Jews living in Iraq. An oft-repeated refrain remains grimly relevant. First the Saturday people, then the Sunday people. Christians and other religious minorities in Iraq will face genocide if the Islamic State is not defeated. In the last decade, the Christian community has plummeted from 1.5 million to just 300,000. Meanwhile, ISIS is turning church buildings into places of torture, prisons and storehouses for weapons. In a meeting with religious minority representatives in Parliament, the Iranian Supreme Leader claimed there is no history of harassment of non-Muslims under our Islamic Republic regime. He stated that based on Islamic teachings, followers of other religions should be treated with justice and fairness. He added, "Muslims in Europe and America face death threats. There is a great propaganda campaign against them, and their places of worship are under constant attack." He claimed such treatment of non-Muslims is non-existent in the history of our Islamic regime. Even our hothead conservative youth do not allow themselves to attack a non-Muslim. Such claims of tolerance of non-Islamic faiths by the Iranian Supreme Leader are made while a large number of religious minorities have been imprisoned and executed since the establishment of the Islamic Revolution in 1979. Open Doors' 2015 World Watch List ranked Iran 7th among the 10 countries where Christians are persecuted the most. And yet, despite persecution, Iran has one of the fastest growing Christian populations in the world as more Iranians grow tired of the oppressive policies of the Ayatollahs. To finish on some good news, in the midst of political uncertainty and terrorist attacks in Nigeria, a global radio ministry says God is opening doors to reach people in the most violent places in the African country. Despite the spread of corruption and terror by Boko Haram, Don Schenk, director of the Tide Radio Ministry, says the message of hope in Jesus Christ is being shared in even the most dangerous areas. Schenk says the ministry is even receiving letters from people involved in the violence whose hearts are being changed. They are finding that Jesus is a man of peace who brings peace, and the only way that we're going to really see global peace and peace in Nigeria is by bringing people to Jesus. I'll see you next month for another update on the Persecuted Church.